Okay, gents, let's now focus on a huge game coming up in the Champions League. Copenhagen hosts Manchester United. And again, this is another must-win situation for Manchester United. They had that wild win against Copenhagen at Old Trafford last time out where they, Maguire was the hero. Onana was, again, the hero in stoppage time with that penalty save. But Erik ten Hag's side, they're struggling, Nick, going into this one. I mean, confidence issues, tactical issues, personnel issues with who's out there right now. I mean, is it one thing over the other that's the biggest issue for them, or is it just all of the above, and that is why they are struggling so much at the moment?
Yeah, thanks for giving me the option. I'm very grateful to say all of the above because I don't think putting blame in any one corner makes a lot of sense here. It's certainly not their way out of this is to do that. There is time when you can scapegoat someone, as much as I hate that. There is time that you can scapegoat someone for the better of the club. I think they've already tried that. In theory, and I know I bring his name up a lot, but isn't basically banning Jadon Sancho from the team, isn't basically that what they were trying to do? Oh, it hasn't been serious enough around here. We're not training hard enough. Well, guess what? It hasn't worked. It hasn't fixed anything. They've had off the field issues. They've had on the field issues. They've had selection issues. They've had injury issues. It really feels like a cacophony of noise that has made this mess here. And I think Erik ten Hag, there was a way for them to still be looking this bad and him to look good. But he is now adding into it. He is adding into it with his choices, with his words. And I'm worried he's going to let, pardon the expression, Man United fans, I think he's going to let the club drag him down if he keeps it up at the pace he's going.
Yeah, it's such a pivotal time, right, Andy? I mean, we look at this game in particular. Like I said at the top, this is must-win for United because their final two games in this group is away at Galatasaray after this, and then at home against Bayern on the final group stage game. So they have to get it. But, I mean, Copenhagen were quite dangerous and created chances. Obviously, could have nicked a point right at the end. And for them, I think they're going to approach it exactly the same way. Sit back, frustrate United, try and get some fast counters going. And this is kind of feels like a perfect storm brewing for United to really, I mean, we think it's got bad for them at the moment. I mean, if they were to lose away at Copenhagen, no disrespect to them, this would be probably the low point under Erik ten Hag, I would say. And especially given, I think, how much his job probably hinges on reaching the last 16 of the Champions League and saying, okay, we've had a rough start. I'll figure it out. We'll add some new additions in January and we'll have a go at the Champions League. But right now, I feel like this game against Copenhagen is, I don't say make or break, but it's very, very important for Ten Hag's future at the club.
Yeah, you would hope that would be the low point, that it wouldn't get any lower than that. But as we've seen the last few years, and I know we'll talk about United a lot more this week, we've said that a lot. Like, this must be the low point. I can't believe they've done this. First time they've done this in X number of years. Longest streak they've had of this, or they've equaled the number of home losses in 10 years that they had in 26 years under Sir Alex Ferguson. It's just they keep finding new records and marks to break that you don't want to break. And so I look at this and I say, well, they saw Copenhagen in the first leg. They know exactly what they have to offer. They know where they're dangerous. They know what they're going to try to do. Surely they will be fully aware of that, going away from home especially. Maybe it takes the pressure off just a little bit, not having the home crowd there because it's not great at Old Trafford these days. Results aside, but the atmosphere inside the building has gotten quite negative towards the players, and you know that the players feel that. You know that Ten Hag feels that as well. And so maybe a little kind of midweek retreat to Denmark is exactly what, I'm grasping here. I'm really grasping here for United's sake. But potentially it could be a moment where they come together. But again, we've been waiting for that for quite some time.
Yeah, they do have a lot of away games coming up, though. So maybe that is good timing for them to not be playing at Old Trafford right now across all competitions, given how that has been going for them. I mean, Nick, we said Copenhagen, they're dangerous. Where do United really need to dominate or be better in this game than they have been in recent weeks? I mean, it seems like in midfield in particular. I mean, we focus a lot on the defense, and there's been issues there, don't get me wrong. But I think in midfield in particular, there's certain balance or control just hasn't been there this season for whatever reason. Even the likes of Ericsson and Casemiro, who are wonderful players, don't look up to speed. Bruno Fernandes is doing his best to try and hold things together. McTominay's been rotated in. Amrabat and Mount have really struggled, and they were big summer additions for United. So is it kind of all fallen down in that area? And I guess that's a big deal for Ten Hag, midfield, right? To have control of the game and the way he wants to play during his managerial career. So that's a big area where they have to improve.
Well, let's start here with a positive. They have the best Højlund of the three that will potentially play in this game, because Rasmus's twin brothers are with Copenhagen. I mean, there have been a lot of letdowns. I'm not talking about an absolute expert here, but a good friend of mine who always gives me the breakdown whenever I want to blame a goalie. He defends the goalie. Onana, I know we're coming off a very recent starring performance in the derby for him in the Premier League, and so we've seen him at his best, but he's not stopping goals. The center back pairing is a real problem for United. Because they haven't been healthy, and so what you've been able to count on last year was Casemiro, who has fought fitness and form this year, and either of those is dangerous when you're at his age. So you then look to Amrabat, right? Like, is this the guy who's going to step in and get the job done? And he has been good, but not influential, not a taking over. And that is, I think, the danger here. To spin it back one last time to the positive, you're still Manchester United in terms of these players are, on the whole, man for man, better than the person across the pitch from them. If you really go through Copenhagen's team, and there's some very good players there, I'm not saying they're trash or anything like that. Everyone that United puts out there would start for the opposition. I mean, it's straight up there. And so go in there and get a win that just feels like a performance. It still should be what you're talking about with struggles aside. All these players are enough to be the superior team by quite some measure. And that, I think, is ultimately why we're having big picture conversations about Erik ten Hag.
I think it's not even about the performance; it's just about the result in this one. It's that important for their progress out of this group. I think probably going to see something similar to what we did at Burnley a few weeks ago, where United go there just not too adventurous and try and rely on a bit of magic from Rashford or Bruno or a set piece. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs that they're going to have to do that with the quality that they have. But my score prediction is I think that's what's going to happen. I'm going to go 2-0 for Manchester United, and I think they're just going to scrape by somehow. But they need to. And I think that will be the importance of the team talk from Erik ten Hag about how he sets the team up that, okay, let's not beat ourselves in this one, and our quality will shine through. Andy, what are you going with?
Yeah, I'll go for the same, and United keep their streak of having not drawn a game in any competition all season alive. Only narrow wins and some pretty heavy losses.
Nick, what about you?
I am betting on the odds that Marcus Rashford is now not just a below average striker. One goal into November, as he started November with one goal. That's insane. I just think there's too much attacking talent for them to not. So I think they'll concede, but I'm actually thinking a rather comfortable 3-1 win.
Oh, there you go. All right. So we've all predicted times are going to get a bit better for Manchester United. Let's see if that's the case. Away at Copenhagen in the Champions League, a crucial Champions League group stage game. Head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest news, highlights, reaction, and much more on this massive game in Manchester United's season, and potentially for Erik ten Hag's future at the club. They need to win this game to give themselves a much better chance of getting in the Champions League last 16. Let's see if they can do it.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.